Hi there. A new way to come to you. I just don't want to have to worry about getting fixed up just to be able to share my heart. My heart doesn't care what my hair looks like, etc. So here I am. Here we are. I've just been pondering how people are connected to places, time, space. I really do see it as one thing, and time and space are the XY grid, the coordinates of that. And so any spot you pick in time is also space. Any spot you pick in space is also time. I know that's simplistic. Oh well, that's what I've got for now. I just don't see that the two are looking at something different. I think there are different angles on the same thing. And with our total misunderstanding of time, since everything is just now, um, well, there's a lot to be cleared up, and it will be when we rise up into the next dimension and level. So much that's fuzzy now will just be clear. Right now, I'm I'm sensing the being in other countries, other nations, other times, other lifetimes. Just the playing of a song, the seeing of a picture can do that for you. I just listened to Men of Harlech by Charlotte Church, and there's a big chunk of me in the British Isles over centuries, if not thousands of years. But I'm not alone in this. I mean, this is so for all of us. And with the reality of simultaneous time, that would indicate that although in Teresa's now, those bodies are buried and bird food or gone up in smoke in the funeral pyre, through heart portal, they're just now, they're happening now. I'm there now. And so we're changing time. We're changing history as we're in direct heart contact with the vastness of the self, with the individuality of the multiplicity of selves. And as we rise up in consciousness, we can touch them, and they are affected. I mean, come on, they are us. Hello. And so, once again, we have a power much more vast than our programming has given us to be aware of. And that's okay. We'll take the awareness direct. Thank you very much. We'll just dive into heart, and we'll find it there. And so, often you'll come on a sadness or on feelings that don't seem to fit your current lifetime. Well, they don't. And the mind will be busy trying to fit it in and find out the why and wherefore of it. And that would be perfectly useless if it's just this 3D mind being occupied that way, because it doesn't relate to the current experience. And if we can let the mind go doing its thing and just stay in the heart, we can perhaps get more in touch with that other one that is there, that we are. In other lifetimes, we've suffered much more than in this one. It's strange, kind of backwards funny, not really funny, the way so often the things that are tangled up and that have us blocked in some minor way in our consciousness here and there, often it's the death scene. It's how we crossed over, and whatever torment we were in, however we were feeling about that, was left unresolved. There are angers and rages that were being felt at that time, that's energy that wants to be released. It's trapped, and it's not pleasant. So we must have the courage of the lion, of the lioness, to tackle what needs to be done, what needs to be sat with mostly, and just observed. Mind doesn't know what to do with these things. How could it? It doesn't need to. It's unimportant, really. When it gets down to heart things, mind can be there, but it's just not central to any of it. It gets to have the hindsight view later on when heart has chewed over and pondered whatever is there, then mind can have a go at it. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with mind. It just, you can't be thinking when you're in heart is the thing. And so I think it's natural that I've put up some buffers and created an awareness, because if you're in heart and you begin to pursue thought, you're instantly not in heart anymore, not the way I understand it. If judgment comes up in you and you want to point a finger at someone, you're not in heart. If fear comes and grips you strongly, firmly, you're not in heart. Or you're not in there deep enough, as deep as is available to you. The waters of peace and joy run deeper and more still than that. There was a saint. Oh my God, it's funny. Her name was Saint Teresa of Avila, I think. The Spanish nun who wrote some works that have come down to us. One of them called The Interior Castle. I read it long ago. I'll share a funny one with you. I've been many different things just in this one lifetime. I've lived in about, I counted it once, I think it's 15 states, actually resided there, and had many different jobs, from jet aircraft mechanic to a guide dog and security dog trainer. I've waitressed. I've worked databases, this and that. Now, where was I going with this? Dadgummit. In laying all that down, I lost the point. Sorry about that. It'll come again or it won't. So, where am I? In going deeply within, we're so much more than mind can envision that we are. And that's just this one lifetime. Just this one. Now, can you imagine all the many lifetimes? Come on, we're old souls here, a lot of us. Just imagine the richness of that. If you're over 40 or 50, then chances are good you're stepping into some wisdom. I mean, a lot of wisdom is just experience, but it works. And you're happy at being older. And you've gained so much. And there's so many things that maybe you wouldn't do the same way. Maybe you would. But anyway, when we look at what's available as blessing and benefit of the learning of just this one lifetime, And then that geometrizes, because we've got all those other lifetimes going as well. We've got other selves of us out there learning this, that, and the other that we may think we have no knowledge of, only to find it in there somewhere. It's freaking amazing. And so much is just a matter of dropping and dumping the old beliefs that are in the way that limit us. We've been programmed into powerlessness and limitation. And as we adopt our new beliefs, the ones that we choose for ourselves, instead of the ones we were programmed with, things like anything is possible. Now that goes in there and it goes deep. And it will flush up all kinds of garbage that says, oh, no, it's not. You know, the old you're only human thing. Garbage. Well, it's cleansing now, friends. But as a part of the cleansing, as a part of the rising up that we're doing in frequency and in consciousness, what's happening is that there's a lot of us, or a part of us, or many parts of us, that won't be going on the ride. I've heard someone put it this way, and I think it's pretty good. You have to have 51% of yourself on the side of light. Now that's kind of linear, but you know, if you're looking at the overall momentum or direction of your life stream, of your whole beingness, of all the decisions you've made, let's look at it that way. 51% of all the decisions you've made are of integrity. That's all it takes. Nothing like perfection is required here. However, that being said, let's look at this. What happens is that in the rising, there's a fire, and the fire is no more than the increase in the frequency of the energy. However, if we look at the difference in the frequency of the energy of the sun and the earth, we'd say there's a very appreciable difference. And so we're going from one density or dimension to another. And only what resonates with the other will come along for the ride. So, the way some people put this, by the way, is you have to have 51% of your karma balanced. But I think karma is one of those red flag words. We've got too much programming or info or disinfo built up around it. So, you know, just 51% of your decisions are of integrity or made from heart. Now, for the person, let's say, who has 90% of their being, I mean, they're just practically there. And I would think that's a good number of us, really, you know, not just a few. That one is going to have a very smooth ride compared to the one who's standing at 51%. Why is that? Because in the ride, that one, 10% of that one's identity is going to go up in smoke. It will be no more. Whereas 49% of the other one's identity will fry. That makes for a pretty tough journey, especially if you're identified with those parts of you. And what I see going on now, and I see it too in the messages that come to me behind the scenes, whether in email or YouTube or whatever, there's a sorting out. There's a stepping back. There's a disidentifying that's going on. And it's beneficial when we can step back and see that it's not personal, that it's happening everywhere. There's a winnowing out within our own being. I mean, amongst our relationships, we can see this happening. It's very intense. It's not optional. These are shifts and changes that are making from the very deepest levels of us, represented by Pluto and Uranus. These are not optional. These are, they're just deep, that's all. And so it's not only a sorting out with the people in relationships, dropping some of them and backing away from some, being able now to see into, we might have had rose-colored glasses on for certain relationships. We might not have been seeing certain aspects or angles that now become visible. Well, what does this do? It helps us to take a step or two back, disidentify. Overall, that's going to make our transition that much easier, and higher self knows this. That's what's going on behind the scenes, I'd say. It's a very good thing. It's very uncomfortable, sure. But, you know, look at the two people, the one with the 51% balanced, and somebody else with 90 or 91. We're all going to have some vestige or remnants of whatever you want to call it, unresolved energy, negative energy, karma, stuff. We'll all have some of it. Yet, these are the days, the hours, weeks, and months when we're transitioning, when we're given the biggest and best opportunity to step away from it, to get some distance, to get some perspective on things. And it will make things easier up ahead. So let's be willing to greet the pain now. Let's be willing to have things stripped away from us. There's a higher wisdom operating here, and it's so funny, my friends. It's our very own. Good old 7% mind here, you know. Heck, we don't even have full access to our own self, much less anyone or anything else. It's hilarious, really. And we will have many a good laugh over so much of this. Meanwhile, though, it seems so serious. Why does it? Because we're identified with it. We're taking it too seriously. We forgot. It's a movie we're watching. It's a hologram. It's a part in a play. And we don't realize that we are of such divinity and such ability that we can be playing, you know, maybe 50,000 roles all at once, because all time is now. We're truly amazing beings. And we're taking a step up into integrating with a higher level of that. And that's really the self. And so the more we step away from identifying with the current face that we wear, such as this lioness. I have a lot of fun with these video toys, just because they're fun, but also because it's stepping away from being identified with a particular form. Trying different ones out. There are cat beings, you know. There are feline beings. I joke with myself, I love cats so very much, but I don't think it would be a welcome gesture to reach up and pet one, a bipedal advanced feline being. That just wouldn't quite fit. Oh well. Oh well. There's such joy and love in my heart, though. But I will do what I can to behave. You know, there are good things about conventions. Do you know, in the ultimate sense, what convention is for is ways to show love and respect. It gets calcified, it gets dead, it loses the heart of it after a time, and then it's broken. and worthless, like so much of it is now on our planet. But if you look into the heart of it, that's what manners are for. It's ways to show respect and to acknowledge the difference in the other, and just to show respect for that. And so, when done from a heart of love, it's a beautiful thing, even if it's just a conventional gesture or non-gesture or whatever it is. So, a heart sees things pretty much upside down when it comes to the way mind sees things. And I've had loads of fun the more and more I step away from the mind's perspective on life. It's such a joy to open up to the anything possibilities all around us. So, wishing you the very, very best for not just 2012, that's a bunch of numbers. It's interesting, but it's not the limit of us. We transcend time. We're all over the place. We're in future lifetimes too, if you will. They won't be so physical, so 3D, but we're there in them. And those are happening now as well. I think maybe it's all in where you focus your awareness. And here in 3D, we're a good bit more limited than what will be just up ahead. We'll have more fun and flexibility. Looking forward to greeting you in heart.